Hello.
Hi, Bryant. Thank you
Hey,
so much for
how
joining.
are you?
Doing
How you
well. How
doing,
are you?
Rachel? Good.
We will go ahead and get started since we're right at noon here. So
Okay, perfect.
thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you joining all of us, and thank you all for joining. As you all know, Bryant Young is going to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame's class of 2022. Just a quick overview of this session. It's going to last about 25-30 minutes. Please use the raise hand function. I see several of you have already started that, and we'll call on you to ask questions. And when you are asked a question, going to ask a question, please state your name and outlet before you do so. And we will try to give everybody who has a question the opportunity to ask before we circle back to anybody else. And I see a couple of permissions to record. We are not allowing anybody else to record. Our team is recording here, and we will post those to the media site. So just as a heads up. So without any further ado, we can go ahead and get started. Barry Wilner, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Okay, first of all, congratulations, Bryant.
Thank you.
Would you talk a little bit about the importance to your career of playing for an organization like the 49ers and the success that they had through the years?
It was extremely grateful to play for such an iconic franchise. It meant so much to me just having a little bit of knowledge of the 49ers before I got there, before I was drafted. Just what they stood for, the championships and the culture that was in place. But to have the opportunity to go there and experience it firsthand, it was such an honor and a privilege to be a part of that franchise and to continue kind of the traditions and the history of what's been established and the standard that's been established there to continue to move that forward. I continue to, wear that badge of honor with pride. It was a huge blessing to be able to do that for the length of my career. And I know that most people don't get the opportunity to finish their career where they started. And so I don't take that lightly. I was just very fortunate that I get a chance to be under some great leadership around really impactful teammates. And more importantly, just being part of that rich community and the fan base that we had.
Thank you, Bryant.
Thanks, Barry. Next question, we'll go to Kyle Nash from the three-point conversion.
Oh yeah, Kyle Nash from the three-point conversion. Good to see you again, Bryant.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Listen, now that you've officially reached football heaven, as Marshall Faulk called it, right, and you're kind of a sage of the game at this point, being a soon-to-be Hall of Famer, what's a recommendation you would make to the NFL? It's been going for, decades. What's something you think or a change you would like to see that could help it continue to succeed or even get better in the decades to come?
Wow, that's a great question. I think where it's been, where it started to where it is, just always remaining open to changes that may happen, whether it's how you can best service, the people that are in the hall or having the people that are part of the Hall of Fame be a bridge in the community, working with different people and being a supporter. I think that I'm quite amazed in terms of how much involved this organization is in the community. They support a lot of the Hall of Famers and their efforts and what they're doing. And I would just say that's been eye-opening. And I'm sure as I continue to understand all that they do, I'll understand where some improvements can be made. But I can't give you a definite answer, but to understand that there is just an incredible length of things that they do to support the Hall of Famers and the efforts that they do in the community. I think it's been amazing, and I'm continuing to learn as we go. Because when you're in it and you're finding out about it, you don't know exactly 100% all that needs to happen. You're just like, wow, this is a lot. And so as I begin to understand all that's in place, maybe I can answer that question for you better in the future.
Hopefully we can hear that. Thanks for sharing.
Okay.
Thank you. Next question, we'll go to Alec Lace.
Hey, Bryant, what's doing? Congratulations on making it to the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Hey, yeah, my whole show, I'm Alec Lace from First Class Fatherhood. I focus on fatherhood and family life. Hall of Famer, great title. The most important one you have, though, is father. What is it like, I mean, as a son, to have a dad that's a Hall of Fame NFL player? That's a lot to live up to as a son. So how do you kind of make sure you keep, the relationship with your kids? I know you got athletes now in the family that are aspiring to be where you are. How do you make sure, they don't have to live with that kind of like, I have to live up to my dad's expectations. I got to be better than him. How do you kind of keep that relationship cool with the statue that you have now?
Yeah, that's a very good point and question. For me, I just think about when I was a child, all the things that my mom and dad instilled in me and taught me, and being able to have that ingrained in me and make it my own. And then you learn some things, the good, the bad. You learn from the things, the good, the bad, and how to move and kind of make some of the things that you were a part of who you are. And so I carried those things with me. I've learned a ton other things outside of my home. But I think as a parent, it's important that I not only teach and give my kids instruction and advice on how to live and how to treat people and how to navigate through life, but I also am the example for that, because I realize it's not a whole lot about what I say to them, but it's really about what I do in my actions. I think the best lessons that our kids learn from me is what I demonstrate, my actions. And I think a lot of things that the way we try and parent, it's caught, they see it. And are your words marrying up with your actions? And so if they are, it's going to have even greater impact. But certainly if you're saying something that doesn't marry well with what you're trying to teach them, they're going to see it. But if you're demonstrating it, it's going to be even more meaningful. But the biggest thing for me is that I demonstrate that in how I live, how I treat people, and how I navigate through life. I think that's important. That's been important to me. And I'm extremely proud of all of my kids. I know parenting and being a steward of what's been given to me is a huge responsibility that I don't take lightly. And so, and I'm always a work in progress. There are going to be times I get it wrong. And I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I think a lot of times we are afraid to make mistakes as parents, and we don't want to share some of the things that we've done wrong in the past. But even when we make mistakes right in front of them, or we made mistakes in the past, it's good to share those things. And it's good to teach from those things, to let them know you're not human, you're not perfect, and that there's a lot to be learned from that. How do you navigate through those things, the hard times? I would rather for my kid to make a mistake while they're under my roof, so that I can help and parent them through that, as opposed to them going off. And it may happen for sure when they're out of the house and I'm not able to parent them through a mistake. And so, but it's really about that too, trial and error, and then just learning from the things that we go through in life, not being afraid to make mistakes, and having those type of teachable moments. And love well, have fun, enjoy life, and make and create memories. We try and do that as best we can here.
Yeah, very well said. You're first class father all the way. Congratulations, Bryant.
Thank you.
Next question will go to D. Orlando Ledbetter from the Atlanta Journal.
Good afternoon, Bryant. D. Orlando Ledbetter, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. How
you doing? Good to see your face.
Likewise, sir. What are some of the high points that you're going to remember when you reflect on your career? Some of the highs, just the highs for today. We don't need the lows, but what are some of the moments that were very special to you on this journey?
Wow, I would say being a part of a really iconic franchise, having the opportunity to win a championship with awesome teammates and share that experience. And then, overcoming obstacles and rebounding, those small victories. And I think too that, you know, we go through the process of training and overcoming an injury and rehab and to get back healthy. There's a lot of small victories in that, but I really love that the process really is something special. And as I gotten older and I look back, I'm like, man, that's like, I think I really liked the process. Like it sucked, you know, but it was a necessary evil. But you know, the locker room was really special. I remember all those things. But winning a lot of games, winning playoff games in the championship, overcoming adversity, and winning in that way, it's been some of the big highlights for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to Peter Holland with the Canton Repository for the next question.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I write for the repository based in Canton. I think we met each other one time, the last time you came here. Yeah, I
An
remember.
orientation.
Yeah. My question is for you. Just tell me about the process of the preparation, basically, for Enshrinement Week, as far as your speech wise, getting your families together in Canton, to finding your presenter. What has all of that process been for you throughout once you got inducted?
Yeah, it's been I'll be honest, it's been a whirlwind. And I think when this is all said with me, everybody's gonna be, you know, like, it's gonna be a sigh of relief for you know, everybody behind the scenes, because, you know, just staying on track and the deadlines and meeting certain dates. I probably hadn't been the best at that, but certainly, you know, it's a process, and just being meticulous about, you know, and thoughtful about who should be there, and then as I prepare what to say, and then being able to celebrate with the people that have meant so much to me. I look forward to that. It's been a process that I've embraced, and certainly looking forward to being there the weekend of August 4th, 5th, and 6th. I will say too that as I think about in my speech and trying to really bring it all in that nugget of time, that has been the challenge, and I want to make sure that I get it right and be thoughtful in what I say in that time that I have. And I look forward to really sharing that with the people that meant so much to me in my career. It's been a process. It's been a once in a lifetime moment, and just trying to embrace all the steps that come with that, and knowing that I won't have to go through that again, but really trying to enjoy the moment too, the process as we work up to that.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Next question, we'll go to Matt Mayako.
Hey, BY. How's everything going?
Matt, good. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Kind of a cliche question here, but how has your life changed since you received the word?
It's still the same. I make mistakes. No, it's still sinking in, Matt. Wow. I'm not this like instant celebrity or anything like that. It hadn't changed in that way, but just the thought of it, like how do I best, as I think about moving forward, even to navigate and use this position as for a greater good. And, you know, I realize that there's even more responsibility because of all that's gone into that to get to this point, and the people that have been so instrumental in helping in that process. There's even more of a responsibility to uphold the standard, and there is a standard. Like the Hall of Fame is the golden standard, right? And so a lot of people really, you know, look to this position as something to be regarded, and so I want to make sure that I do that well and handle it with care, and do a great job representing all the members in the brotherhood and people that are part of this unique fraternity.
Yeah. I have a question for you. I know it's a very emotional subject, but something that's near and dear to your heart with what happened to your son, and then to see Alex Smith go public recently with the struggles that his family has had with their daughter. And I'm sure some of this you want to keep private, but have you had an opportunity to talk to Alex, and kind of what advice would you give for any family that's going through what you went through and what the Smiths are going through?
Yeah, that when I saw that, Matt, it hit me hard, and I just thought about my own experience going back some years, and just imagining what he went through. And when I look at Alex and our stories, we're almost like parallel, with the exception of how our career started, but in terms of just life and things that have happened with injury, and then our families, and just his personality, who he is, kind of a guarded person as well. But I'm respectful of where he is, and I want to be there as much as I can for him. But I'm also I want to be I want to make sure that I don't overstep my boundary as well. Um, it hit me so hard because I do identify with that, and I know what he's going through. I'm not gonna say I can only imagine. No, I know what he's going through, and it's hard, and he's going through a really, really tough time. But there's a lot of hope at this moment for him. And so just to continue to cling on to that hope. I look forward, I haven't talked to him yet, Matt, and I look forward to having a conversation with him. Like I said, when I found out, I'm sure it was the first time a lot of people publicly found out about what was going on. And you have to respect people's privacy. Like it is a whirlwind when you discover a diagnosis like that, when something hits you like that square in the eyes, you don't have time to get your balance. You're just falling backwards and doing the best you can to stay on your feet. And so you don't have a chance to connect, to respond. You're just doing the most important thing at that time, and that's to stay focused and do the right thing at that time to ensure that your little girl, your child is going to be okay. And I'm with them. I'm supporting them and loving them from afar, but I do look forward to having a conversation with them. Like I said, I'm really just I respect where he is, and I want to be respectful that I don't overstep my boundaries, because there's similarities, a lot of similarities there, and there's only one difference in that, and I want to make sure that that I don't overstep that. But there's hope. He's a great guy, and it's tough. I look forward to talking to him, man.
All right, BY. Okay, see you next month.
All right, thank you.
We're going to go to Eric Branch from the San Francisco Chronicle for the next question, please.
Hey, Bryant, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Eric?
Good. Question, and kind of piggybacking a little off what Matt just asked, and I also don't want to overstep my boundaries as a stranger to you. But if you feel comfortable responding or answering this, great. If not, I certainly understand. But how has your son's death changed you, and as a man of faith? I don't know. It can be cliche, but sometimes you say, "Well, there was a reason for this." Have you found that? Is it still too soon?
No, there's been many lessons learned, and the most important one is always trusting God, and it's always been God's timing. Like, we don't know how our life is going to be, and what the next step may be, and but it's really learning to trust God in the moments where we can't see what's at the end of the tunnel, and that's hard to do a lot of times. But I've learned to trust more. I learned to allow. Those have been lessons for me. Allow people to be a blessing. but it's also just knowing that it's always God's timing. And then my faith has grown a lot. My faith has been tested. Our faith as a family has been tested, but we remain standing because of Christ. And so we're going to continue to grow. Those are great questions. But yeah, just there are so many lessons that even as I look back, I continue to have these aha moments like, wow, okay, like, yeah, I see that now. But I learned a lot. I appreciate that question.
Thank you, Bryant.
Yes.
Next question will go to Cam Inman.
Hey, Bryant.
Hey,
Bryant.
Cam.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
Good.
Yeah, that's some good deep talk, and I think everybody appreciates you opening up and sharing those. I kind of want to go back to when you were back in Canton and toured the hall. Did you get starstruck at all by anything? And did you seek out, I guess, any of the memorabilia about the 49ers, maybe see if you were in any of it besides whatever they have for you personally?
I didn't. I'm normally an even kill guy, even if I get. Yeah, I didn't get too starstruck. There were a few things that I was like in wow about, and so I pretty much was just even kill about everything, just trying to take it in. Everything to me was a wow moment, but just trying to be poised as best I can, but also taking it all in. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of content there, and it's like, wow. Just when you look back over time and things that people have contributed in history that's been made and the people that are part of the hall, like it's all a wow factor. Like it's incredible from the work that's done behind the scenes to the incredible work and the journey and the body of work that people that are enshrined in the Hall of Fame that they've done. It's all a wow factor. So just being able to take that all in and continue to understand all that's happened and that's come before me, there's still a lot more to be learned.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next question will go to Faygo Franklin. Faygo, are you there? Okay, we're gonna skip our, are you there, Faygo?
Can you hear me?
Yep, now we can.
Oh yeah, perfect. I'm sorry about that. This is Faygo Franklin III with New Stitch Media. Brian, first and foremost, how does it feel just being elected in the Pro Hall of Fame? And secondly, what advice would you give some of these rookies about understanding themselves as well as knowing their worth in this industry?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Faygo. I was extremely excited and proud. One, to be selected and knowing that it wasn't just me. There's a lot of people that have been a part of this, and what an incredible just gift to be able to represent all those people that have been part of this this cool journey. And so it's still sinking in. I think there are levels to it. You know, it started from the knock on the door to having the orientation or the site visit at the hall. And even now, as I prepare, that continues to sink in. I think the finality, and it may not be like the final, but will be the induction weekend. And then that's another level of it sinking in. But I'm extremely honored, and I don't take it lightly, even for the individuals that were on the ballot, part of that finalist list. Just so excited for them and the opportunity that they had, and look forward to seeing those guys one day that are in there. But I'm grateful to be a part of such a unique class as well. And then for the young guys, just the advice that I would give them is never be content. Always find an opportunity to continue to get better and move forward. There's always work to be done. Don't get encased in being fixed to one way. There's always growth and opportunities when you remain soft and you remain open and you remain teachable. we get better as we remain open and teachable as we move through life. And so that would be my advice to some of the younger individuals that are coming up. And you're only as good as your last play. You're only as good as the week before your last game. You're only as good as your last year. Keep your eyes focused on what's ahead and always be open to improve.
Thank you again and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question will go to Ward Fasold, and then we'll do one more question after this.
Hey, Bryant, Ward Fasold, Sports Stars of Tomorrow.
Ward.
Hey, we do a lot of stories on up and coming high school athletes that are going to be stars at the next level, at least at college. I'm going to tap into your memory bank there. Back when you were in high school, is there a play or a moment, or maybe something a coach told you that kind of clicked to you, like, okay, I could make this into a profession? Maybe not all the way to the Hall of Fame, but definitely have dreams of NFL. Was there something that made you think, hey, this is something I could do, and I might be better than most of the people out here?
That I saw a moment in high school or just in college as well?
I'm mainly thinking of high school because we concentrate on.
Okay. Yeah. So I can't remember any particular moment where I felt like there was a defining moment, like an aha moment, like, wow, like I think it's going to happen. I think for me, I thought I was going to be a fullback. And I think the best decision that was made was that somebody saw it differently than what I thought. It was like, well, from your size and from my perspective, you belong in the trenches. so I'm glad that happened early. But I think when the doors started opening up for me in recruiting and understanding the gift and the potential and the upside that was there, and not really fully understanding what was there, but then garnering the attention that was coming my way, that to me was kind of the lessons, and seeing it like, wow, I think there may be something here, and just really having fun in the moment. Like for me, I wasn't so fixed on like, I got to make it to the NFL. I got to make it to, like, that wasn't front and center for me or for a lot of people back in the day. At least for me, I'll just speak for me. But just having fun and living in the moment, and then understanding like, wow, I think there may be something here, and just really trying to improve every opportunity I can get. But I'm grateful for all the high school coaches that have shaped me in so many different ways, from Coach Piazza, who first, saw that I didn't belong at the fullback position. I should be in the trenches. And Coach Holtz, who just did an incredible job coaching the defensive front. Such meaningful people. Coach Rusk, who coached the offensive line as well. And I remember all those guys. My first year playing was in high school. First year playing organized football was my freshman year. And then not knowing, but just having fun and living in the moment with the guys that you're competing with. It was an incredible opportunity. I think too, when I think about it, that may have been kind of a defining moment. Just knowing that I love playing football, I love to compete, and I love doing it with guys around me, my teammates.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to go to Eric Branch for the last question.
Hey, Brian, as you know, as the years go on, the stories get better and better. And so I wanted to ask you, the truth of a story Gary Plummer tells about, he was in a scrap with the Cincinnati Bengal and you came over and defended him. And in the end, you ripped off a guy's face mask, not his helmet, but you ripped off his face mask. Can you vouch for that story?
Gary's told that story a bunch of times, and I think I lost it. I don't remember that happened. I might have been so enraged that I didn't realize what I did. But if Gary has said it and he's sticking to that story, I'm not saying it didn't happen. It did. I've been known to, in the heat of battle, go and just be very, very angered. But within the right perspective, it could have happened. Yeah. I don't deny it.
Does that, obviously a lot of guys talk about, because off the field, you're very classy, calm, collected. Did that ever scare you? Like when you thought back, like, man, that was me on the field. Like what happens to me? Or was that is that just the NFL and part of football?
I think that's part of football. That's part of the NFL. But I think, football is a very chaos, very violent physical sport. And it's controlled chaos. You don't get better. You don't play the game, and you don't excel in the game by being this passive, nice individual. Football is a violent sport, and so you got to play in such a way that you protect yourself, you play well, and you're able to make plays. And it takes a lot of energy and effort to play the game. And for me, there have been moments, where I may have gone too far. It's part of the game, but realizing too, like looking back, like, oh wow, okay, how can we exude better self-control? Because that's what we're always trying to learn and teach even younger players, like having self-control, even when you're justified in acting out or doing something in return. And so we want to always exude or just exhibit self-control. And so it's important, so those are, definitely teachable moments when you look back, like, wow, okay, was that the best way to handle that? But sometimes, when you got to fight at times, and it's just what it is. It's part of the game. And they do it in hockey. It's part of hockey, right? Right. Somebody may do something to you, and hey, the gloves come off, and you're just throwing hands. That's what it's about sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Bryant, so much for joining us today. And thank you all for joining. We look forward to seeing you here in August, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.